I was brought in to architect the SaaS infrastructure. That's to be the initial kind of like the beachhead, so to speak, here at the AlertSite property for SmartBear. So basically, right now the properties that we all have are very disconnected, and that's a bad user experience going forward, especially with the expectations that people have nowadays, right? You're with Google, you have a Gmail account, that gives you a Google Plus account, that gives you a YouTube account, that gives you a Google Docs account or Google Drive as they're calling it now, that gives you all these accounts. That's kind of what people expect. They want to have one login and have that login be able to proliferate across whatever it is that you're gonna services that you want to offer them. It just makes it's frictionless. I think that's the term that people are using nowadays, but really we just call it easy, right? Frictionless is the term. Like, oh, we want to do everything frictionless. Like, no, it's just easy. Like, who wants to sign up and remember 15 million different passwords? People don't want to do that. Not to mention having these other resource providers not have to store your password means that now you're really is a good and a bad. All your eggs are in one basket, but at the same time, if you can lock that down really, really well and secure that with things like two-factor authentication and things like that, it's pretty good, because as history has proven, you ask people to go ahead and put their passwords in multiple different places, they're not going to put a really strong password in every place. They're going to use the same password anyway. Most of the time it's going to be weak. So it's great that you can lock down on one and say, okay, this is your identity provider. Have these other things, be able to talk back to us and say, okay, am I allowed to use this person's credentials to create a user over here that maybe not has all this information, but really is just a caching point. Speaking of, that's one of the things that we're building here is basically saying, okay, well, for all of our properties going forward, let's have a general idea of there's going to be this identity provider, and then all our properties are going to plug in it to make the user experience very easy. It's also going to make it very easy for the salespeople, because if I'm talking to you and I say, hey, okay, you have your site and we're selling you something like Co-Collaborator or one of these other tools that we have available to you, and you're writing code, obviously, and you have a site, and I say, well, wait a minute, what are you doing for monitoring your site? And you go, well, right now we're not doing anything. We're just kind of crossing our fingers and hoping it doesn't go down while I'm sleeping and I get a phone call from a customer. That's what you never want. You never want your customer to be the one calling you that your site's down. You want to know, if they call you, you want to say, oh yeah, I know, we're working on it. So you say, hey, we have monitoring software, that will do things for that. It's one of our products. It's AlertSite. Do you want to sign up for it? If they say, yeah, you click a button, and also next time they're in whatever the system is that they're defining right now, because we haven't quite gotten that point on the front end, you go in there and all of a sudden they have options to doing that, and it just works. And they have a trial or whatever, or you just sign them up and now we're charging them and they're getting this service that's great. That's a powerful situation that we're trying to create here. That's the narrative that we're trying to create, to say, make things very easy for the user. And for my opinion, in great business is if I can make it easier for you and give you value and make things great for you, and you're gonna buy my service, we're both gonna be happy. My revenue will go up and you'll be happy with what you're doing, which in turn should hopefully bring your revenue up. Everybody wins. I think that's a very good business proposition for what we do here, where we're handing you software as a service. As opposed to, and this is, I guess, the reason why this is getting a lot bigger now, is saying, hey, let's go write our own monitoring solution, and that's painful. So basically, it's just setting up a situation where I can build a system, allow multiple people to be on that system from different organizations, have their data separated out, so that they can use our service for themselves without having to write it and maintain everything. We'll do that, and that's, I guess, that's kind of the basis of what's happening in software as a service now, because certain things that are necessary are becoming very, very complicated, and they're becoming very specialized. And when you have that, it doesn't make any sense that if the company that's building its website is originally using Co-Collaborator, does an e-commerce site, what business do they have writing monitoring software? That's, you're gonna have to split your development team. You're gonna have people that specialize only on this, and that's gonna cost you a lot more money than paying for the extra added benefit of having an AlertSite. But it also allows for our salespeople, like I said once again, to create interesting packages and things like that in a way that they do the least amount of work possible. If a salesperson can turn on a system for you and you don't have to do anything, It's very easy to get them to say yes, as opposed to, hey, go to this website, it's completely different, go to this other thing, and sign up and create an entirely new login, and put all your, oh, you changed your name, you changed your billing information, you have to go to all of them and change all that now. It's exactly, as I'm talking about it, you can even tell how painful it is, because you probably go through it right now. You know, you have your Amazon account, you have your Gmail account, you have your Yahoo account, you have your, so many changes, you have to change all that, you know. If your email changes, or your backup email, or whatever changes, you have to change all of that. Your credit card information changes. You have to go into PayPal. You have to go into eBay. You have to go. It's painful. So there's some identity proliferation, like not proliferation, but identity federation, where people are starting to provide identities. I believe Google Plus just released that their identity provider last night. You know, now there's Google Plus Sign On, to compete with Facebook, which is basically what Facebook's been doing. So that's kind of the opinion I have on that.